Briony, thanks for joining us. The recipient of the Middlesex Special Award. First and foremost, how proud are you to be acknowledged with that award?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I think none of us kind of go into it looking for recognition or anything like that, but it is really nice that, you know, people from my club put the effort in, you know, and then it was recognised by Middlesex. It is really nice.
So you're from Shepherd's Bush Cricket Club. You've been there, I understand, for some time now, and I'm told that you're the driving force behind the enormous growth in the girls' cricket section there. What do you put that success down to, Briony?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had great support from the club from the get-go, really. Tim Howard, who kind of has always, I mean, he's done everything at the club. He was a great, you know, supporter of the girls' section and basically enabled me to do whatever was needed to grow that. And there was good support from the committee generally, and yeah, parents and everybody, and the girls themselves, really.
What do you put the success down to? Because it's probably made you one of the fastest growing girls sections certainly in Middlesex. I mean, you've got 60 or so now in the programme.
Yeah, no, I think probably just having someone dedicated to it, which was essentially me. You know, lots of clubs have a parent, which is brilliant, but don't necessarily have that time and energy to put through across all the age groups. You know, often they'll take over their daughter's age group or something, which makes sense. But yeah, just having that time and resource meant that I could go into schools to recruit, or I could, you know, I had the energy to actually grow it, you know, without any pressure from within.
And where does your own passion come from, Briony, for coaching itself?
That's a very good question. I've always loved coaching. Ever since I was sort of like 12 or 13, I'd do bits of holiday camps in different sports and stuff like that. It was just something I've really enjoyed. And, you know, getting girls into cricket is such an area for growth, and seeing kind of almost a surprising way that they love it is so nice. You know, I've had parents come up to me and say, you know, I always used to take my son to cricket, and now I get my wife to do that so I can take my daughter to cricket and watch. You know, it's just, they're sort of a bit surprised about it, which I think is quite nice as well. And I do think, you know, it still is a little bit of a different sport for girls to play. And there's something quite nice about being the person that gets them to have that experience and gets them to really enjoy it. And some of the girls, you know, they've said to me, or their parents have said to me, you know, she really wouldn't have even played cricket if it wasn't for you. And that's quite nice, especially if they do carry it on and it brings them joy for years to come.
I guess you've done all of this at the perfect time, really, because now more than ever, I guess, certainly in the last 3 years since the ECB regionalised the women's game and made it elite and made professional contracts a thing, there's now a genuine pathway now from young 5-6-year-olds getting into the game at Shepherd's Bush to go all the way, and the kind of ceiling is a professional career in the game. Yeah,
it's amazing. It really is the best time. I think it's just luck more than anything that this is when I've kind of got involved in it. But it is really nice, and I was thinking the other day, I was thinking, I wonder if anyone I ever coach will kind of become professional, and yeah. But I mean, even if they don't become professional, what I'd really like to see is just more engagement throughout their life, because there is this drop-off that happens. And I think still, if you look at clubs' adult sections, lots of clubs will have 4 or 5 men's teams, and very few have more than 1 women's team. So I think it'd be nice to have that kind of like long-term love of cricket for the girls.
One thing that was listed in your numerous credits in your citation for the award was your passion to breaking down barriers and for women and girls to get into the game, and for making the game more inclusive for women. Explain where that drive comes from.
Well, I think it actually comes from my own experiences. So I first played cricket, I played lots of other sports, but at prep school, where in my year group is predominantly boys, there were only about 8 girls, played cricket in PE, and it came quite naturally to me, and I really liked it. And they said, will you come and play this match for us? And I said, yeah, I was so excited, I'd love to. And they said, just one rule, you have to wear a box. And I was like, I just had a complete meltdown. I was like, I don't understand, you know, it felt, and they were like, well, that's the league rules. Because there was just, even though it wasn't that long ago, there was just no thought that a girl might play. And that really stuck with me. And I think it's just an example of the way that it just wasn't inclusive from day one. And little things like finding kit that fits and feeling uncomfortable in the kit, and all those things are just things that I was really acutely aware of from my own experience, and I just didn't want that to hold anyone back. You know, from my perspective, if she wants to wear shorts instead of white trousers, it makes absolutely no difference to the game at the recreational level, but if it's going to make her enjoy it versus want to cry and go home, it's a no-brainer. And I think it's just almost a bit of a common sense approach that we can ditch some of these kind of really long-standing ideas about it and make the game something that the girls want to play.
Absolutely agree with you. Another thing that you've done, you touched on it there, was allowing the girls to play in dark clothing as opposed to in whites, which is a concern for many young women. Further to that, though, you went out and found sponsors for the club to actually fund it, and you actually went out, found sponsors, bought coloured clothing for the women, and that's where you are. That's kind of above and beyond.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a fundraising background. I worked in fundraising for a good few years, so I think I've always been quite confident that there is money out there, especially for women and girls sports is a big area. And there's been some great people at the club that really helped kind of drive those that outreach work with the community, and kind of we targeted specific businesses, particularly ones run by women and girls, which is nice. And yeah, we involved the girls, got a say in the kit, what it looked like, and all of that stuff. It's kind of the best you can offer them, I think, and I think they wear it with pride.
One of the things that's come through really clearly with these interviews I'm doing here is that enjoyment and fun and doing it with a smile on your face is a massively important part of your role and for the enjoyment of those participants. One thing you've kind of done, again going above and beyond, you made sure every single person in the programme was recognised at your end of season awards by giving them a personal certificate. Where does that mentality come from? Because that's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I started a couple of years ago, and I think I just thought, I don't know if it must have, maybe someone did it for me when I was a child and everybody got an award. I think we went on a residential trip and everybody got something, certificate, and I think mine was like most improved juggler or something. You know, it was very niche, but it just made you feel a bit seen. Yeah. And I think that would be really nice for the girls, because not all of them do always, feel that they personally contribute. And I think, cricket's really interesting. It's an individual sport, but also a team sport. So I really wanted to just make them feel that they are all really valued by the club. And even though they might not be hitting the most sixes or taking the most wickets, we still really value them and want them to come back. And it's not necessarily about those things that they sometimes get a bit caught up with.
It's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Briony, one thing that's really coming across very clearly is your passion. You clearly love what you do. What would you say to other coaches out there that are watching this in your similar capacity as a young female that may play the game, may not play the game? What would you do to sell them the dream of being a cricket coach?
I mean, it's definitely important that you love it. I don't think it's like a fallback kind of job. It's got to be passion driven, but I think it can just bring so much joy to you and so much satisfaction in what you can contribute to other people's lives, particularly at a time that might be difficult for them, or forming the foundations of that kind of like healthy relationship with exercise and their body as they're growing up. It's so satisfying and rewarding to have that impact on people.
Briony, that's great to hear. Congratulations again on the award. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.